What's up, subscribers? It's another day on SPPTV over here at RFG. I'm Rob, if you don't know, and if you've never been here before and you're new, welcome. We build LS powered cool cars and fast things, mini trucks, and restore cars and do other crazy car things that I'm sure you'll like if you never subscribed. But anyways, this is my 87 S10 that I'm putting a 5.3 LS in. It's aluminum L33, putting VS Racing 7875 turbo and stuff on it. If you tuned in to the last video, you see I went to the junkyard. I got this steering shaft here, and it's off of a Jeep YJ. And the reason I got it is because it's really small here compared to the stock one, which I just kicked across the floor. I don't know where it rolled to. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, so here's the stock one. So I'll put it over there and compare. So as you can see, it's this is a lot smaller than this diameter, and then this piece here is the slip-on. Like, this slips into itself here because it collapses. So basically, I took this one apart just now. Need a little bit of heat and some WD-40. I got it apart. I'm gonna throw it in the sandblaster and sandblast it all up, and then I'm gonna test fit it. The ends where it goes into the steering box, it's the same on a Jeep as it is on a Chevy, and also the other end that goes into the steering column is the same, so that makes it really easy. So I'm hoping that this is going to fit a lot better. The other one would not fit with the manifolds. I'm trying to run the manifolds pointing downwards. As you can see, I don't want to point them up, it just doesn't look as good, so I want them to going down like this. And like, don't worry about where it's pointing here, because I'm going to cut more of this off, and you know, I'll have it coming straight out, or else it might even go this way and down. I haven't decided yet. And then I also had to swap out the brake booster for a smaller one, because the big S10 one wouldn't clear my coils mounted to the valve cover. So I got this smaller one off a G-body, like a Cutlass. So that's also going to get sandblasted, and I already test fitted that and it fits really good. That's what we're doing today, so follow along. So I put those parts in the sandblaster. Here they are. I cleaned them up also with the wire wheel a little bit. Makes a huge difference, makes them nice and clean. Now I'm gonna test fit them on the truck and kind of see what I have to do. Like, if you notice, it's two pieces, but this was also two pieces, this big part and this small part, and they basically slide together. And there's this thing that kind of holds it in tighter. And it's collapsible, so that in an accident it would collapse up instead of pushing the steering column like through you, basically. So I mean, I have to probably shorten it a bunch, but I'm hoping to still be able to maintain the collapsibility of it, so to speak. But let's try test fitting it, see what happens. Now what I ended up doing is I took the whole thing and I test fitted in there. So I ended up having to cut away. This was welded to this, so I cut it off and ground it flush and popped it out of there. So then this fits perfect, and then this shaft I shortened a bunch, and this part of the shaft I shortened a bunch, and it all fit, except it was still touching the manifold even after all that thinner, this being thinner. So I ended up having to cut a notch in the manifold here, and now I have like tons of clearance. It's all good. And obviously I'm gonna have to weld that hole back up. I cut the hole like a lot bigger than it probably needed to be, but you don't know until you know, right? So I don't think that's gonna cause a problem, you know, in terms of flow or anything. It's actually not even gonna be that much. You probably can't see it, but if you were to look into there, you could see that it doesn't. Well, here, hold on, I'll get a light.
Yeah, get a light.
And then you could probably see. It's barely even in there. That's the thickest part of it. It's barely even in the hole. So like, I didn't cut that much away. So I think that should work pretty good, and obviously that allows me to put the manifolds down, which I think looks a lot better. So yeah. And on the other side, manifold is on there, but as you can see, it points down here, which is no good. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut more of this away and have it so it just, and then weld a piece of tubing in here so that it comes straight out to here. And then maybe that's where I'll have my V-band to hook my Hotside up to. And of course the turbo is going to be somewhere over here, so it'll come up and then into the turbo.
And this is pretty cool because lots of people on the internet said you couldn't do this, you were saying, right?
Well, they say that the down manifolds don't work down forward
on these
but
trucks.
They don't, because they don't work
they don't unless you do that.
They don't work with the steering column shaft, and they still don't work even with this shaft, but
pretty trick though.
Make it work.
And after watching that Engine Masters video with the header bash and the dyno testing, this shouldn't do anything.
Didn't really make a difference. Yeah. And obviously, if I was worried about exhaust flow that much, I would build headers for it too, not use stock manifolds, right?
Yeah.
Which they've obviously proven that they work well. So.
Yeah. So there you go, $4 custom junkyard drive shaft.
Yeah. All I still have to do is I got to weld this back together here, and then this is already bolted on. You know, it bolts in like factory. And then same with this one. All I had to do was grind a little groove in there for this to capture it, and it's all good and tight. So other than welding this up, it's pretty much done. It'll work. Just got to weld up that manifold will be the next thing to do. And obviously more modifications to it. That's all. It's all good. It's all for fun.
That's it. That's all for today.
That's it. Hey, what's up, guys? So it's the next day now, and I'm out here working on the truck again. So I took that manifold off, and now I put it on the bench here. And you see I cut out a piece of basically this round tubing here. I just cut a section off it. Here's the piece that I cut it out of. Basically just laid it in there and marked it with a marker where it needed to fit in. And now I got it kind of laid in here. I'm going to weld it a bit on one side where it fits really good. And then after that, I am going to grind it and smooth it until it fits. Plus, I'm going to test fit it in there to make sure that it doesn't rub against the steering shaft. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, sorry, I guess when I was welding, I was hitting the thing with the hammer, the GoPro fell, and I didn't notice, so I didn't really get any other welding, but basically, that's it all welded together. And then this one, this will just fit back in here. Once I can line it up. Ugh, oh, there it goes. Just like that. And as you can see, there's clearance for days. And also, like, I took the bolts out of the steering column here. There's bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. And I'm gonna move the steering column over a little bit. Basically, guys, when they do body lifts on S10s, they do that to give clearance. Once you do a body lift, you gotta move the column over a tiny bit. So once I just move it over a tiny bit, you know, it gives me even more clearance around everything. So that's pretty good. Just gonna have to smooth the welds a little bit, make it look a little nicer, but that's gonna work awesome. Okay, so now I threw the manifold back on, and then I put the power steering pump whole bracketry on so that I could see how I'm gonna run the Hotside piping. I used the power steering hose from the stock S10 box, which bolts right up to this LS power steering box. Pump, I mean. Sorry, power steering pump. The only thing that I kind of am concerned about is the return line here, but I can either change this fitting, modify this a bit, or maybe just put a piece of braided line. Like, I'm kind of worried about it melting from the exhaust, but I cut the exhaust manifold a little more. I got this V-band on here. It's not welded on or anything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from this V-band, it's gonna just come straight here. I have lots of room on top of this frame rail for the inner fenders. So I'm gonna come out this way, and then it's just gonna turn. It's gonna go in front here, and then turn again, and then go into the one that's gonna be on that side. My plan with the one on this side here, is to make this come straight out of here and turn up. And then turbo is gonna be mounted here, and this pipe will just come and it'll merge into this one here. So I'll probably have a V-band right on the end of this manifold, kind of like that side, but like straight on like this, and then it'll have a 90, basically a turn up here, which will be attached to that. So this part will be V-banded. The whole main Hotside piece will be V-banded, so that it'll be easy to come off. And so far it's coming out pretty good. I think it should work out all right. So yeah, that's probably all for tonight, but I think we might continue this video tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see you later. Okay, so now it's the next day and I'm out working on the hot side. So I'll show you where I'm at right now. Okay, so I had some U-bends, 2.5 inch U-bends, and so I cut one of them up a bit. So it comes out of there, goes around, and then it goes straight down in front here like this. And then it'll go up to the other manifold where it's gonna tee into the flange for the turbo. So yeah, that worked out pretty nice. It's a little close here to this power steering right here for the return line, but I might get a different bracket for this. Plus I can run a piece of braided, so that'll keep the heat away. Plus I'm gonna wrap all this because of the heat in this tight engine compartment. So yeah, so I just tacked that together, and now I'm gonna fit it, and then I'm gonna tack the V-band to it, and then I'll end up welding it all up. See, I can't put it there, which is kind of not how I was thinking, but it has to be here, maybe?
What do you figure?
Like I said, you know how I said I want to have the V-band come straight out. Well, if I did that, and I put the turbo kind of like right here, well then the exhaust is going to hit. Unless I guess I can go over a bit too. Like this is backwards. This should be on this side. And it would be perfect. Here. Can you stop doing that?
Oh, isn't that brutal?
Fuck, you stink, man. Clayton keeps burping, which is probably worse than farting.
That's
Because it
Frank's.
smells gross.
That's some Frank's pizza.
Last you saw, I had it all tacked up. So now it's all fully welded. Welded here. The V-band is all welded on all the way around, both sides. And that's all good. Now I gotta start making the other side. So this side, pretty much done.
Off the list.
Yeah, so now I gotta do the other side, which will be the harder side because it's the side that includes the turbo. So
The chooch maker.
So definitely stay tuned for that. Turbo mounting things. So I guess that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next one where we'll be doing more S10 LS things when I get started on the passenger side. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and
Smash the
check you
button.
later.